faced the hardest time you'd imagine.
Wow, what was that all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's all about. It's about doing a photographic trilogy. Let's roll that intro and get into it. What is a photographic trilogy? Well, it's a series of 3 pictures that gets to the essence of what you're trying to photograph. Let's take a look at a photographic trilogy. This is a trilogy that I made down in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the Taos Pueblo. And what I'm trying to show here is all the clay and the straw and the stubble that the Pueblo was made out of. But it was more than just about clay, straw, and stubble. It was about getting into the real essence of the primitive nature of how these people lived for so many thousands of years. They estimate this is over 2,000 years old. I wanted to show the austerity of how they lived and the state of disrepair that it's in now. And I think I've captured that. So, what was I doing downtown? I was trying to make a trilogy of the bathhouses. To capture the essence of the bathhouses, I need to look at the architectural structure of each individual bathhouse and decide what portion of the bathhouse that I needed to take a picture of to show the true essence of the architecture of the times. I wanted to look at the architecture from the standpoint of how it impacted patronage. How did architecture draw customers to each individual bathhouse? Also, I wanted to look at the economic and cultural conditions of the time. So, let's get into the picture. It took me 3 different visits down there to get what I wanted as far as a trilogy is concerned of the bathhouses. We went down on one day as more of a scouting tour and took pictures of blue sky, no clouds. We then took pictures of complete overcast, and then the last day we took pictures of I'd call it cloudy, intermittent, some blue, a little bit of blue sky, this sort of thing, clouds that had texture. And as we go through that, I'll explain why I chose the pictures that I did and why I eliminated others. And I think you'll be surprised. Now at the end of this video, there's going to be a little bonus, and I'm going to talk to you and tell you how to take handheld pictures and not get them all blurred up because of camera shake. So let's get into the pictures and take a look and see what we got as a trilogy for downtown Hot Springs, Arkansas. Well, shutter clickers, day 1 is come and gone. We spent about 3 hours downtown trying to get a good shot of the bathhouses. And the skies were blue, blue, blue. The bluest skies I've ever seen. And you would think that would make for a perfect day. Well, let me explain something to you. It's not as good as it might look. So let's take a look at the pictures and just see what we got here. First of all, as you look at this first picture, you'll notice that there's so much light, the skies are so blue, that the bathhouse looks almost flat. There's no definition. There's nothing here to give you depth because there is too much light. And as we change pictures, we go to the next one, we have the same thing. You can't even hardly tell that there's a line right there from one side of the building to the front side of the building. It becomes really evident when you look at the Arlington and you see right here you've got 2 faces of the building, of the tower, but you can't tell where one face starts and one face ends. If it wasn't for the little windows and being at an angle, you'd never see this line right here. Okay, shutter clickers, we got 2 down. And I'm going to take a picture of a couple more different ones here, so we have a little choice, something to choose from. And Kat's kind of showing you by video what we're looking at and what we're shooting. Again, I'm doing HDR. It means I'm taking 3 pictures at once. A camera exposed, overexposed, underexposed, and we put the 2 together. I don't like messing with filters. Great day for filters because the sky is so overcast. It's just a big gray blob up there. When we started heading this way, there was a lot of definition in the clouds, but that's all gone, so this is not the best scenario. But anyway, we're working with what we got, so let's just keep going. All right, we're going to move on down the road here. All right, let's take a look at day 2. When we look at day 2, we see the Arlington on the left and day 1 Arlington on the right. So you've got the contrast here between the totally overcast gray skies and the totally cloudless blue skies. Neither picture turns out all that good. Both of them leave the scene flat, 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 and that's not what we're after. If you go and look at the next picture, this is the old federal building up behind one of the bathhouses, and again, look how flat the scene looks. Just the light is just not right. You don't get the definition, the detail, and the depth of field, the feeling that there's depth in your picture when the skies are like this. And then, of course, lastly, why, here we have one of the bathhouses with the old federal building in the background. And you have the same difference. They look like they're almost flat in the same flat plane. And we've got a little bit of cloud definition on this one, but you know, it's just not right. You need that dynamic sky and the light just right to get good pictures, especially architecture.
Let her cry, cry, while she's a lady.
I don't know who that guy was. He lives on the street. He's from New Orleans, he says, and he was a friendly guy. He likes to talk. We've seen him twice now. We saw him on day 1, and we saw him again on day 3. But nice guy, just sits there and talks, and he wanted to sing on YouTube. So I let him sing, and you just heard it, okay? All right, let's move on to day 3. Now we're going to have clouds with some detail and definition in the clouds. The light is more dynamic, and this is where I picked my 3 pictures to make my trilogy. The purpose of going down there on the 3rd day was to get some pictures for the trilogy. And we hung around down there, I don't know, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours, just waiting for the sky to change. And I think we got some gray, cloudy skies with some definition and some dark spots, and we got also a few little blue spots coming through in the background. So blue skies, cloudy skies, overcast skies, they all give you a different light, and they all make a big difference. So let's take a look at our last 3 pictures that I picked for the trilogy. Well, these are the 3 pictures that I picked for the trilogy. And as you can see, the quality of the sky is totally different. You can see character in the clouds. You can see a little bit of blue sky poking through here and there. And then, of course, the light quality on the buildings. You can see one face from the other. You know which is the front of the building. You know what's the side of the building because of the shading and this sort of thing. You know, the light is coming down, not too bright, not too dim. You don't have that flat look. You can even see definition in the stucco on the side of the building. You can see how rough it is. So this is what it takes to get good architecture pictures. So how does a trilogy look when it's all put together? Well, let's take a look. Here you go. Now, when you're putting a trilogy together, It's much like one picture. And you'll notice the two outside pictures, they form like leading lines looking to the inside or the middle picture. They also, you got a white, you got a yellow, and you got a white building. So it all adds to the context and to how you look at the three pictures together. It's all very, very important. It's just like taking one photograph, except you apply the same principles to all three. So you have to plan what buildings you're going to take for your trilogy and what angle you're going to take them from. You can't just go down there and just shoot, and then come back home and hope that you got three pictures that look right. So, well, I hope you enjoyed the trilogy. Got a couple of bonus things here for you. We got a video of a car that was down there. It's an old Mustang. You'll see it here, but it's not real. It's not a reproduction. It's a real body, but the rest of the car is totally different. And I'll explain to you why. And then of course we have our 5 bonus points at the very end. So we'll get to it. Okay, we're going to give you 5 little technique points on how to get good, steady pictures hand holding, not using a tripod. And these work. They're tried and true and tested. First one, number 1, don't use the LCD screen to take a picture. Don't hold your camera out like this. Use the viewfinder. Use the viewfinder. Put it up to your eye, like so. Now you've got 3 points of contact. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? That really helps. This LCD screen, you're holding it out here like this, you can't hold the camera straight. Along with that, holding the camera, put your hand down here, put the total weight of the camera in this hand. Then bring it up to your eye. Like so. Okay? Put the total weight here. You can't really hold the camera here steady and work the dials and the buttons and the shutter and get a good steady picture. Hold it like so. Bring it to your eye. This hand here doesn't carry any of the weight. Okay? Number 2, I use the 2-second timer when I'm going to take a picture. Okay? And what does that do? All right, I get up here, put it to my eye, click the shutter. Now I have no movement in the camera. Clicking the shutter is movement. Using the timer, there's no movement. In fact, I can take that hand away, but I'll just use it for a little steady there. So snap away, let the timer do the work. Number 3, when you take a picture, breathe in, exhale, and hold. This comes from the sport of shooting. Target shooters do the same thing. They inhale, exhale, and hold. It stops all body movement. When you're breathing, your body is going like this. Not quite that much, but not that exaggerated, but it is moving, okay? Number 4, don't forget to click on your stabilizer, your ocular stabilizer. Now a lot of cameras it's built in, you don't have to do anything, but some cameras like DSLRs, you got a button on the side of your lens to turn it on and off. You know, it's easy to forget, but you need to have that ocular stabilizer on. And the reason why it may be off is because when you're on a tripod, you don't use it. If you use it, you'll get blurry pictures. All right? And last but not least is keep your shutter speed as fast as possible and still take the pictures that you want to take. Okay, well I hope these 5 points help you get better, sharper pictures in the future. And in the meantime, the thing to do is what? Keep that shutter clicking, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.